Hello and welcome to biology class. This is the last lecture on chapter 1 plant life. In our previous class we discussed the pollination. Today our topic is fertilization and formation of seed and fruit. We all know it is a natural process through which flowers turns into fruits. But do flowers lay fruits like hen lay eggs? No. After fertilization, the ovary of a flower develops into a fruit. So, what is fertilization? Let's see. Fertilization is fusion of male and female gametes inside an ovule. Fertilization can be classified into three steps. First, germination of pollen grains, second, zygote formation, and third, embryo formation. After a pollen grain lands on a stigma, it germinates in response to a surgery substance secreted by the stigma. The pollen grain then sends out a pollen tube carrying the male gamete through the style into the ovary till it reaches the ovule. The male gamete is released into the ovule and it fuses with the egg or the female gamete. So, the fusion of the male and female gametes to form a zygote is called fertilization. Have you wondered what happened to the whole of the flowers after fertilization? After fertilization, all the parts of the flower except the ovary wither away. The petals and stamen shrink and fall off. The sepals may fall off or undergo modification. The ovary enlarges to become the fruit. The fertilized ovule develops into seed. The seed contains the zygote. The zygote develops into an embryo, which is the future baby plant. Let us learn about the fruit. Do you know tomato, brinjal, cucumber? These are not vegetables. All of them are fruits because they are developed from the ovary and contain the seeds. So, what we have learned? First is fertilization is the fusion of male and female gametes. Second is after fertilization zygote is formed which grows bigger to form an embryo. After fertilization the ovary develops into a fruit and as the ovary grows bigger the ovules develop into seeds. Now we shall learn about the fruits. What is fruit? Seed bearing structure which is the ripened or mature ovary developed post fertilization. Ovary turns into fruit and ovule into seeds. Now the parts of fruit. Ripe fruit consists of the pericarp and seeds. The pericarp develops from the ovary wall and may be dry or fleshy. Pericarp is composed of the following three layers: epicarp, mesocarp and endocarp. Now what is pericarp? It is the outer thin skin that covers the entire fruit. Mesocarp is the middle pulpy edible layer of the fruit and endocarp is the hard membranous innermost layer that encloses the seed. Simple fruits are of two types, dry and fleshy. What is dry fruit? In dry fruits, the entire pericarp becomes dry at maturity. The pericarp is thin and can't be easily differentiated into epicarp, mesocarp, and endocarp. Garden pea, bean, wheat, and maize are examples of hard and dry fruits. On the other hand, in fleshy fruits, the pericarp develops into succulent tissues. The pericarp is soft and fleshy at maturity and can be differentiated into outer epicarp, middle mesocarp, and inner endocarp. Mangoes, oranges, peaches, cherries, tomatoes, and bananas are examples of fleshy fruits. So, these were the classification of fruits. Our next topic is seed. We have learned that seeds developed from ovules. A seed contains an embryo which gives rise to new plants upon germination. A seed consists of the following parts. First is seed coat. It is the outer protective part of a seed. It protects the seed and absorbs water as so to rupture at the time of germination. Next is embryo. It is the part of the seed that develops from the zygote. It consists of radicule and plumule. Radicule gives rise to the root when a seed germinates, and plumule forms the shoot after germination. Cytoledons. These also called seed leaves surrounded the embryo. They nourish the seedling during germination. Seeds with one cytoledon such as maize and rice are called monocots, while those with two cytoledons such as pea and bean are called dicots. And next is endosperms. It lies just beneath the seed coat and provides food to the embryo. Let's see the differences between monocot and dicot plant. In monocot plant, the seeds are with one cytoledon, but in dicot plant the seeds are with two cytoledons. In monocot plant, the roots are fibrous root, but in dicot plant the roots are taproot. In monocot plant, vascular bundles are scattered, but in dicot they are ringed. Most of the monocot plants have parallel venation on leaves, but in dicot plant they are reticulate venation. And the flowers in monocot plant are trimerous, but in dicot plant flowers are tetramerous or pentamerous. So this was the difference between monocot plant and dicot plant. Next, coming to germination. The process by which a seed gives rise to a young plant or seedling is called germination. This figure shows germination in different types of seeds. There are some conditions required for germination of seed. Seeds required water, oxygen, suitable temperature and enough light for germination. The first condition is water. Seeds absorb water. Water is absorbed by the seed coat, which then swell up and cracks open. This helps the embryo to emerge with ease. Water also provides a medium for the chemical reactions occurring inside the seed and for the enzymes to act upon the food reserves, so that this can be utilized by the growing embryo. Next is air, that means oxygen. Seeds require oxygen to be able to release energy from the food through a process called respiration. And next is sunlight or temperature. The temperature at which seeds germinate varies from seed to seed. The optimum temperature range for seed germination is between 10 degrees Celsius and 35 degrees Celsius. So these are the conditions of germination. So in this chapter we have discussed about the plant life, the stem, the roots, leaves, fruits and the seeds. So that's all today. In our next class we shall start chapter 2, cell, the basic unit of life. Thank you.